Well, hello, Bootstrappers.
Hello, Bootstrappers.
We're going to start something here we're going to call Founder Essential Reading because, books are such an important part of both of our lives. And we want to share with you the best authors and try to extract out what you can do right now using the ideas in that book to make your startup go better.
So we're going to do two things. We'll say this is the book, kind of give a really quick overview of what's in the book. But what we really want to do is make sure that whenever we do this, we pull out some exercises you can walk through that benefit you, that will make sense and add value to your business right now.
Right, because reading your book isn't good enough. You have to do something with it.
So today, we're going to look at, this is Marketing by Seth Godin. We've got 4 exercises to walk through. Minimum viable market, what is it? It's basically a freedom number. Leveraging your advertising spend to make sure that you get the most out of your money. Brand promise questions that really clarify who you are and what you're offering, and brand positioning so that you stand out and make yourself be seen as the difference you are. So here's the book. You probably know this guy. If you don't know this guy, you should know this guy. He is one of the marketing geniuses of our generation.
And no, I did not shave my head because we're doing that book.
I think you need glasses.
Too long.
You need glasses.
Yeah, Seth Godin fanboy move.
So this is marketing. You can't be seen until you learn how to see. This is a visual synopsis of the book, and I love these. I long to be able to do them. To give you a sense of everything that's covered in the book, here it is. We're also going to put a link to this actual visual in the resources down below.
And don't worry, we're going to extract some very concrete ideas. We're not asking you to learn all this today.
So basically, when I read his book, the core message I took away, Will, is you got to get your head right with the ball. And when Nelson and I started Critical Watch, we were very much technical founders, and the whole idea of getting out there and selling was a really big chasm for us to step over, and it worked really well when we just went out and met people and said, this is what we're doing, and do you want this? It worked. We didn't realize that we were doing marketing. And
yeah, you're solving their problems, which feels good as an engineer, right? You're fixing it. It's not
love solving problems.
Selling, although it is. Everything is selling, but you got to think of it as serving. It's serving, not selling.
We would say we're going to go on a sales call, and immediately we'd get really tense. It was really funny. So Seth Godin, he's reframing marketing. If you have any part of you that feels like selling is awkward or weird, get the book. It'll align your soul. The whole purpose is to be able to figure out who you can make a difference for in their lives and be in service to them, create relationship and create value. And he's a genius at explaining it. Now for the cool part, and this is what we love to pull out, which is the exercises.
Yes, let's make it practical and let's get to work.
All right, let's dive in. Minimum viable market, or really, hey, what's your freedom number?
And I am shocked at how many entrepreneurs don't know this at the drop of a hat. I was talking to one this morning and I brought up, well, how many units do you need to be break even, which is your freedom number. You break when you're cash flow neutral or better. He didn't know. We had to go through it together and figure it out together, and that's the most important number.
It is the most important number, and you want to know this number before you realize like why you have a runway, or before you even started. If you know this is the target, then it changes everything. All right, so let's walk through a real example, okay? Here's the example, side hustle. So let's say that my desired outcome is I want to make enough money that I can pay off my student loans in 3 years. And my student loans, for the sake of argument, is $36,000. So that means that I need to make $12K a year.
Now, for my teenage son, I want to be able to fund my hobbies. So he had a much smaller number, but it just matters on what you're trying to accomplish.
So first step is, what is that number? And then let's look at breaking it down over a year. So if it's $12,000 a year, I need to be pulling in $1,000 a month.
Absolutely.
And then this is configurable. We put in some numbers, and we also created a spreadsheet, so you can download it and copy it and play with it, where you can say you can put in the right numbers for you. So in this case,
that'll be a link in the resources below. Check it out. Make a copy. It's yours to do what you want with.
So if I know I'm selling a product and it sells for $25 each, and it costs me $15 to make it, then my net gain off of each customer is $10. So that makes the math pretty easy. So for me to hit that $1,000 a month number, I need 100 customers a month. I guess, Will, the only thing I really wanted to check after this is the amount of time. If I'm going to hold this as a side hustle, then I also wanted to do a gut check on the amount of time it takes. So because I didn't want two jobs, I wanted a side hustle, right?
Right.
Okay, so then I'm looking at if it takes me about like a little bit under an hour to do it, to deliver one unit, then how many hours a month will it take, or how many hours a day am I committing to it in order to really hit this target? And for me, that's we're looking at a little over 2 hours a day, and for 3 years I would do that to pay off my loans.
So, when Ian and I did this, we settled on Udemy and we actually ended up doing 12K a year. And the difference there was all the work was up front. So it was, did we have enough time to create the course to upload? Because once you uploaded it, you could make it, but it took about 6 weeks of side effort. And that seemed reasonable for the amount of reward we would get out of it.
I think the next example is going to be pretty similar. So Soloproneur, desired outcome, just as far as the modeling goes. So the desired outcome is quit my job, make enough money to live without really tightening my belt.
Don't move back with the parents, right? Unless that's what you want to do. But this is a number you're shooting for.
So 60,000. All right, so $60,000 a year.
Okay.
And you modeled this one based on like let's say that you wanted to start a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, I've heard there's two people that are trying to do a YouTube channel, and this is kind of the math we went through. We said, all right, for this to not be a complete waste of time, we need to make $5,000 a month off of it.
Okay.
And we said, all right, each fan, now not just, they didn't find us, like these are people that this channel resonates with, and they're going to watch 10 videos a month of content that we put out. And that gives us on YouTube, it's about $3 per every 1,000 impressions. And so that would give us 30 cents per fan per month. Now the cost to deliver to that customers, there's no unit cost. It's the cost of making the videos, which is an upfront sunk cost.
So this is similar to the Udemy where there's this big chunk of time where ideally, we're doing this in our spare time.
Yes. Yeah, because this PowerPoint didn't make itself, did it, Eva?
No, it didn't. Okay, so you did some extra research. How did you what steps did you do to find this 30 cents per fan?
Well, so one thing that YouTubers that make money love to do is make videos about how much money they're making on YouTube. And so, I just went in and started doing the research, like, how much, and there were some of them that were very honest about their amount of money they receive per view, and a number that you can count on. Now you got to get to the monetization level, but is about $3 per 1,000 views. Now I'm guessing on how many videos they'll watch per month, but I feel like if we put out 15 or 20 videos a month and if we're on target and it's the right bootstrapper, they're going to watch that content. And so, running all those numbers together, we come up with the number of customers we needed, which is 16,667. So 17,000 dedicated subscribers. That's not that many in my opinion. I feel like we can definitely get there. There are so many channels that have more subscribers than that, but they may not all be dedicated fans. So I feel like it's definitely within reach.
And what I really like about this, like the two models and how they contrast, one has, this is a really specific amount of charging, and this is a specific cost, so it's really concrete numbers to play with. And what I like about this one is that it really requires you to be really clear about your assumptions and go ahead and put them in there. So as we gain customers and hit that monetization, we can actually go back and check the assumptions.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now let's dip into why does that matter so much?
And Seth doesn't get into that so much, but I can tell you from all the startups we dealt with, he's making a really important point here, and you better pay attention.
It is one of the most important points. So let's say, and this because this is I've seen this a lot. It's called the uh, spray and pray. You want to hit everybody, and just believe that the right people will magically be drawn to it.
And oh, by the way, the original Match.com, they tried to market to everyone in America and went broke.
But that's because they were doing the TV advertisement.
Absolutely.
And
this was before anyone had internet. And so 99% of the people that saw that ad couldn't do anything to get to Match.com.
yeah, they may have loved the brand, but it was actually unavailable.
Absolutely. So they went broad and went broke.
They also didn't bootstrap.
No. They raised the 10 million, went the VC route, and Gary Kremen has publicly said that he made $40,000 from Match.com.
Okay, that was my moment of silence. so let's say, all right, so you'll see you're selling to everybody. And so the screen that you're looking at right now is a screen capture from Facebook advertising. And the reason that we chose it is that it's really, you can look at the audience and begin to dial it in and play with it. So here you'll see you're selling to everyone in the US, and the audience size for that is 220 million, give or take.
And that's a lot of people to try to reach, and we'll show you at the end of this how that affects your budget.
So let's zoom in a little bit, and let's say we're selling to entrepreneurs in the US. And what you'll see is that you can add an interest to the Facebook advertising parameters. And that does bring it down from 220 million to 63 million. So we got some reduction, but it's not enough.
Yeah, and it's funny. I don't know that 63 million people are real entrepreneurs. Like, I'm just already skeptical that, yes, it's probably better than everyone, but it's probably not good enough in my opinion at all.
Yeah, I would say I'd say that they may have interest in money, but I don't know that they have interest in really, diving in.
Yeah, 63 million people definitely like money.
All right, so one thing you can do is narrow it down by geography. And in this case, we're like, let's look at Austin because that's where I'm at. So boom, bring it into Austin. It does bring the audience size down. Now we're at $520,000. What it gives me is when I begin to talk to this group, I can actually speak in language that I know resonates. So I can talk about, technology, startups, and tacos, and it's going to resonate with the Austin crowd.
And also, if you need a network effect, like with dating, people for some reason in Austin weren't interested in dating people in Scandinavia generally. And so if you narrow your geography down, it's easier to get that network effect. But it's still probably way too many people.
So way too broad. So this is really cool. What if we could find people that are interested in and already are actively trying to solve the problems that we're here to help with? They're already in the same perspective area.
Kind of the psychographics, these are people that are in our tribe, or we want to be in that tribe when we're selling.
So that brings the potential reach down to 18,000 people. I get excited about this number. I know you get excited about this number, Will. I've talked to people that when they see the potential base drop that far, they actually start to get a little sick at their stomach. They're like, but what if I don't have enough customers that way? But remember, you have a freedom number. So
right, and that's VC talk getting in your head, which is the VC will say that's not enough people for me to sell you and make money off of you. But that doesn't matter. You're just trying to get to your freedom as a bootstrapper.
And you hit the freedom number, you can then begin to expand out to more and more audiences.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the financial reality about why you can't go broad.
Right. And these numbers are exactly why Match went broke. It's because it costs a lot of money to build a national brand. So if you're trying to reach everyone, which is 220 million people in the US, and the general rule of thumb is that in order to get recognized, someone has to see you 10 times, more or less. And so Facebook will charge you $9.56 for every 1,000 views they put your banner up there. And so if you do the math on that, that's $20.9 million to reach all these people 10 times. And let's say out of all those people for our bootstrapping YouTube channel that, 0.00005 people care. And that means it would cost us $1,900 for every YouTuber that's going to bring us 30 cents of revenue every month. So this would be a massively, so this would be a very efficient way to go broke quickly.
All right, so let's reduce it. We're going to keep doing the same number. So market size is going to go from 220 million to now 63 million. This is just the entrepreneurship interest in the US.
Now we're going to assume there that slightly more people care. So not only are you spending less overall, you're only spending a $6 million, only $6 million, just get your mom to write you a check. But more people care because you've dialed in the psychographics a little bit. So now you're down to $950 a customer. Now, if you're selling something that you have a $10,000 margin on, great. You figured it out, start doing it all day.
So let's bring it down to 520 like we had it just Austin.
Absolutely. So same number of people care because it's entrepreneurship in Austin. Now all of a sudden my total budget gets down to $50,000 to hit all those people. Okay, I might be able to get to some kind of network effect for a rather large check. I mean, it's not a big check, but like if you're doing a family and friends round, $50,000 check is a pretty big check. Mm-hmm. It's going to go all to Austin, but it's still going to cost me $950 to get that customer.
Okay, 18,000.
So now we've dialed the psychographics in, and both of us have experience that say, if you're hitting the right market with mass advertising, you should get about 1%, 2%, 3% click through. So we narrowed it down to 1%. Now all of a sudden it's $950 to get someone who cares. Now, what this shows me is that if we're doing a YouTube channel, we definitely can't do mass advertising to pick up customers because it would take 10 to 20 years to get our money back from them.
Right. Yeah, this would make more sense, if we had, say, an online course or something that was really specifically targeted to this group.
Or dating, like that would be the first month's revenue back. I mean, so you could definitely, if you got a 1% dial in on your dating product, this would make money.
So direct sales. Up here, this is like we're going to go through Facebook marketing. We're just going to,
consumer advertising.
Consumer advertising.
So this is what Eva and Nelson had to go through. So I'm going to let her take this one because this is your B2B. They're not going to click on a Facebook ad and buy your enterprise security product, are they, Eva?
No, we had to actually smile and dial. We had to reach out to the customer, create a relationship in order to set up a meeting. So what you see here is the amount of time it took to get to the meeting. Then the odds of actually getting a sale once we had a meeting. Hours available is really simple. Regular work week, 4 weeks in the month, and then the average value of sale and how much revenue that equaled per month. So when we dialed and reached out to any customer, so any business that might possibly want what we had to offer, it was dismal.
Right. I mean, you were making an additional $160 a month in revenue. So, if you had a whole bunch of people that wanted to work for free, maybe this would work. Maybe.
First thing, we narrowed it down to industries that actually had compliance requirements. What it meant is that they were educated and they had a reason to buy. And that really helped a lot. So it still took about 5 hours to a meeting, but the odds of getting a sale really shot up. So narrowing our target audience was really critical around this. Still had the same amount of hours available. And our average sale was about $5,000. But it meant that the revenue per month actually began to make a little bit more sense.
You could sell more than it cost you in time. If you were doing it as a founder, as a bootstrapper.
As a bootstrapper, where it became really, really honing in, just blew our minds. When we sold to large companies that sold outsourcing, like they outsourced, these are the companies that other companies outsource their technology to. So they had their own compliance requirements, but more importantly, they wanted to be able to take what was traditionally a call center and actually turn it into a sales center for them. So they were able to take our service, which is vulnerability management, and then turn around and offer that and resell it to the customer base. It took a lot longer to get to the first meeting because these are really large enterprises.
So your time went up from 5 to 20.
Went way up, but our odds of getting a sale went up. And the biggest thing is that the size of the sale skyrocketed. I do not recommend this as a bootstrapping strategy, but it's the same math and it's still the same function. It is doable. It's just hard.
Well, I mean, one way you could think about it is you don't quit working on number 2 because you're at least making some guaranteed revenue, but you set aside 20, 30, 40% of your time to go for the big companies that's going to really put you in the black.
That's right. And that's it for 2 reasons, really. Is that the large companies will put you in black and they will like really accelerate your financial growth, but you want to balance out. You don't have all of your financial stream coming from one customer, because if that goes away, it's catastrophic. So you do want to have the base hits all day long too. Okay, so enough of the flash in the past. Reaching the right people, really, like, are you asking the right questions?
So a lot of this comes down to pre-qualification, pre-qualifying your customers, which means asking the right questions and not begging people to buy from you, but figuring out who needs you right now.
Yeah, so asking the right questions about them, and also asking like questions that limit what you try to sell.
Yep. So any quality that makes a group more likely to say yes. I took a young entrepreneur from Georgia through this exact exercise, which is ironic because we're going to do the show today, but it was, he's selling to fire departments, firefighting departments, and not every firefighting department is ready to buy, but a firefighting department that's had a few injuries and is trying to figure out how to prevent that is a lot more receptive to what he's doing. So why don't talk to the other ones, narrow it down.
Yeah, if you don't talk to them, you don't have to actually pay the cost of like any effort costs money, costs time, it costs resources if you're bootstrapping. So if you can reduce that and until you get to your freedom number, like really focus on the ones who are hungriest for what you're offering, the better. So there's this great exercise in business marketing, and it's basically a series of prompts. The first one is, my product is for people who believe X. And so, I read this, and it's like, this is like me, like asking me to get clarity on the psychographic, like, perspective of the audience.
Absolutely. I want to make money reselling your product, or I really want to, build a company, but I don't want to go through the hassle of raising VC money.
Next one is, I will focus on people who want X. And then I promise that engaging with what I make will help you get blank.
Probably the most important one, right? What do they want that I'm going to give them? Because like with dating is, I just don't want to be lonely anymore. I want someone to live my life with for it to be fulfilling. So it was like shooting fish in a barrel.
Not sure that's a great analogy, but it was
easy to sell it. I mean, because we had something that made people feel like that they could solve that problem.
Yeah, and with that one too, what was great about it is that we also promised that we offered a collection of people who were also looking. All right, so we went through this exercise.
Absolutely. We want to do, the same things we're teaching you are important as we try to get this new YouTube channel off the ground.
So here's our belief, that we're going to bring the most value. Our product is for people who believe that making money is better than raising money.
Right. If you, and in the Valley, this is a big one, like everyone measures themselves by their last round and what their valuation is. Don't watch this channel. This isn't for you. It's for the people that believe that's complete crap and want to build a real business.
So that means we're going to focus on people who want to create freedom and tell excuses to suck it, and who also see like raising money as a excuse, like it's actually in between them and building a business.
Right, because no one's going to come and save you. You need to get off your duff and get after it.
All right, final one. We promise that engaging with what we make will help you bootstrap your way to your dreams.
Absolutely, because and your dreams don't have to be Mark Zuckerberg's dreams. They could just be creating freedom for yourself and your family, or being able to buy a nicer car, or being able to send your kid to the college they want to go to. They're your dreams, and that's what matters.
All right, last exercise. This is really about differentiating you and finding out like where's the edge that when you're positioned there, you stand out.
And you kind of combine this with the psychographics. So you're looking for an edge that will matter to that audience that you want to reach, that you want to serve.
That's a really good point. Okay, so there's a positioning exercise, and it starts off, and there's basically, you have two axes. You have the x-axis, and the y-axis. And you're going to find two values that you're going to position. You'll put one on the x, you put one on the y. And they could be anything, but Will, like you were saying, what's important is that these actually matter to your target audience. They matter. One of the examples in the book was delivery, like mail delivery.
Right.
And the two differentiating points, security and speed. Guess who it's for?
FedEx Speed, right?
What? Yes.
And so, yeah, because they didn't pick cost. They didn't pick all kinds of, ingredients, difficulty, visibility.
It's not a luxury sell.
No.
It doesn't show up like with a little butler hand delivering it.
Absolutely. They said speed and security we're going to be different than everyone else. And we're going to find the customers that matters to.
And charge accordingly.
Absolutely.
So if we take it to, like, for us, we've got...
a little while, right? I mean, it wasn't obvious, right? What to put here.
No, it wasn't. It was interesting, too, because, like how do you, like, it's to find two that stand alone on that spectrum.
Right. And so for us, Bootstrappers, I feel like a lot of you are the ones that I want to attract, or we want to attract, is financial freedom. Like, that was me. I just wanted to be free. I wanted to be able to do what I wanted to do with my time.
And then the other one is agency, meaning that they believe that they have the power to enable themselves to learn things and do things and make things. And even if it's not the most polished, it gets a product out to market.
You know, one of our dad's favorite things to do was when either any of us would say, well, I can't, he would say, stop right there. He would go, what you really meant to say was, I don't want to put the time into it. I'm too lazy to do it, or I don't really want to do it. And he would go through like 10 or 20 different things. He goes, but what you can't and shouldn't say is you can't. And so, yeah, we want people that believe you can if you put enough effort into it.
I did not appreciate that as a kid, but
no,
it definitely it served. Right. So if we look at this, and what's the edge that for us is important? And it's important for two reasons, right? One is so that we're clear on who we're talking to, but also so if we're not a good fit for people, they know it up front, and they leave.
Right.
And that way there's fidelity to the conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah. They go to another channel. We don't care.
So
venture capital, if that's your goal and your measuring stick,
we're not for you.
Audience.
Yeah, we're really not. We're not for you. Entrepreneurs. What's an entrepreneur? Well,
these are funny people. They really want the freedom. They love talking about it, but they never are willing to do the work that it takes to get something off the ground, and they irritate the crap out of me.
Well, it's because they're always waiting for the right people to come along, waiting for somebody else, and
yeah, the other thing, they're waiting and whining is how I use it.
So probably not. We're not the right channel,
no.
and it's actually liberating to get really clear on who you're not for. Incubators related to venture capitals, but actually a little bit more on the agency side, right?
Yeah, do it yourself, teaching you the skills, learning how to do it, but still trying to get money and putting you on that path to raise money, really.
Right, and because that's the core focus of like long-term plans, it's not a good fit.
Now,
okay.
This is, you've got it off the ground, but you're not really going to grow it. And I think our focus are going to be, yeah, you may be a bootstrapper today, but we want you to be a great business person 5 years from now, leading a meaningful company.
Bootstrappers, where it's really about financial freedom and being able to have the freedom of doing, like not waiting on somebody else, not accepting the excuse that because you don't know it today, that means you can't know it tomorrow when you can.
Right. And so do this for your startup idea. I mean, take the audience that you're going for and do a position. And it may take you 10 or 20 iterations of this to figure out what the right qualities are that you're going to compete on.
I think we're the takeaway.
Focus or perish. I mean, that's what I told this guy this morning is he's got 14 months to find 8 more customers. And that ought to be all he's thinking about.
Well, when he came into the conversation, you said that he realized about the 14 months, but then when he honed in and realized it was just 8, and he had liftoff.
I think I can do that. Like I can do that too. Well, thanks, guys. We're going to be bringing you hopefully one of these every week and a half, and try to take the best of it. Let us in the comments put in any book that's really had a big impact on you, or you think we should be covering.
Yeah, if you get stumped on one of the concepts, just drop it in the comments, and it's here to figure out how to get more people like really bootstrapping to their dreams.
See you next time.
See you next time.